Hello everyone.
Hello everyone.
Today we are going to talk about Jackie May.
Taking you around Tune 1.
Sociology.
深水埗
How long was it?
Central.
Welcome to Kaitech 2.0.
CST does have some residential housing for locals, but no public housing were found here. Shifting to Taiwan, we find a completely different scene. Unlike TST's Hotel Field Streets, here is primarily a residential area where locals live, featuring various types of housing, public housing, private estate, tenements, and village houses. Originally a village in the Shatin district, Taobao Village was the original area of Taiwan. While most village houses have been renovated into modern-looking structure with 2 to 3 levels, only their original front doors remain intact. These properties are passed down through male lineage, helping preserve community ties and cultural heritage. One thing we noted is that the buildings inside the village are so close to each other that residents can actually exchange items with neighbors. A local resident told us it gets really hot in summer because the wind cannot circulate due to the lack of space between buildings. In short, Taiwan has both old village houses and modern apartments. This neighborhood shows how traditional village image and new urban buildings exist side by side.
In Kaitech, public spaces like the Sky Garden and Seaside Promenade encourage social interactions. Planners included open lanes between residents in the surroundings of Mongping Street and Mongtai Street of the Kaitech Great neighborhood to foster interaction and social cohesion. However, in reality, those lots have been developed as gated communities. This contradicts the original vision of co-housing, which is a bottom-up approach where residents participate in design and management, aimed at combating social isolation and fostering a strong sense of community. This reflects the inconsistency between urban planners' intended social design and the lived reality of residents, who prioritize security and exclusivity.
Tranquil first developed in the 1980s and has since housed more than 300,000 people. Since the district is developed through reclamation, the government has more chances to plan the place well. Tranquil has a good mix of public, subsidized, and private housing. Subsidized and public housing are further away from the MTR station and public amenities. An interesting fact is that a handful of early subsidized housing estates in Tranquil were built by private companies, echoing with Chiu and Xiu's vision of privatization of housing market in that time frame. Private housing, on the other hand, are right on top of the MTR stations, or at most a foot away, or near the promenade for a great view of the waterfront and Seaside One. Social welfare amenities are now integrated into their own complex, usually inside a public housing estate to serve the community for elder care and preschool special education. Other facilities such as hospitals, libraries, and swimming pools, however, are spread across the whole Tranquil New Town and require residents to take public transportation to get there. But while Shamshui is famous for purchasing electronic and computer appliances as well as efficient chip, Tranquil is essentially a bedroom town. People go to Central, Taipu, Kuntong, and Laichikok to work and return to the flat in Tranquil for a good night's sleep before repeating this cycle every single workday. Overall, Tranquil is a good residential area and perhaps a fair place compared with Shamshui, but it certainly lacks its uniqueness among various places within the city. Shamshui, on the other hand, is one of, if not the most down-to-earth place in Hong Kong because of its social demographic factors.
Smart cities are urban areas that use data, technology, and innovation to improve the quality of life for residents. It aims to enhance efficiency, sustainability, and inclusivity by integrating smart solutions into energy, transportation, housing, and governance. Such as Kuntong, there are many smart facilities like lampposts, recycling bins, traffic lights. Also, Hollywood is a development project of Yuan Square, which is residential use to cater the needs of different families and investors.
We are going to Kuntong today.
The car seems almost out of battery.
Do Hong Kong have any smart charging system for electronic car?
Let me check.
Wow, there are many charging spots in Kuntong, for example in Union Square.
In Guangdong, you don't need to worry about your electronic car run out of energy because there are so many intelligent charging points. If your electronic car's out of the energy on the way, just open the My Color Is app and click My Map to find the electronic vehicle charging points. Then you can see there are so many purple points on the map, which is shows the electronic charging points. It can also choose the facility information, like the facility address, the charging time, and the quota. This intelligent charging point is located in Union Square, and here is the charging point usage information. You just need to connect the charging cable to your vehicle until the green light starts to shine, which indicates the successful charging. If you want to end the charging on the electronic charging point, just need to end the charging on your electronic vehicle operation panel. Then you can pull out the charging cable to end this process.
Wow, Kuntong is such a nice spot to come. There are so many special events and places in here. Where should we start with?
Maybe we can search on My KE app to check out some places we are interested with. My KE mobile app is a comprehensive mobile application for the Kowloon East, which aims to promote smart city initiative and the concept of walkable Kowloon East. The easy walking function is developed with the aid of 3D pedestrian network. Users can use the wayfinding functions to find a sheltered, barrier-free, and a clean air walking routine according to their personal needs and preferences. The function also covered MTR stations and the major shopping malls in Kuntong, providing a well-developed routine for the user to explore in Kuntong area. On the other hand, the parking system is also the key component of the app. Easy Parking Scheme aims to collect the real-time parking vacancy data and related information in Kowloon East, which enable drivers to locate available parking spaces easily to help to reduce unnecessary car journey and traffic congestion. Currently, a total of 61 car parks share their real-time parking vacancy with the app, which cover more than 76% of the hourly parking spaces in Kowloon East. With the consent of the data owners, the relevant collected information shared with the data government Hong Kong. In general, this encourages more people to walk, reduce the reliance on vehicles and promote a healthier and more sustainable lifestyle.
At the heart of Kai-Tak is Airside, a 47-story mixed-use development that redefines high-density sustainability. It is certified as a BEAM Plus Platinum building, which is an assessment based on energy consumption and environmental impacts of new buildings. A 36% greenery coverage ratio and solar panel installation help to reduce ambient temperatures by 2.5 degrees Celsius. The building's shading design was optimized with AI, saving an additional 30% of energy. Community-centric features and low-carbon initiatives foster a sustainable lifestyle for citizens. For example, there are pet-friendly green zones and EV charging stations in the area. By combining technical innovation with urban nature synergy, Airside sets a regional benchmark for green commercial development, balancing economic developments, ecological needs, and social benefits in a high-density city context. Another key development is the Hong Kong Children's Hospital, the first public hospital in the city to achieve BEAM Plus Platinum certification. Its biopower design integrates nature with healthcare, incorporating green country yards and district cooling system. Clinical studies indicate that its architecture reduces patients' recovery time by 18%. Renewable energy sources provide 35% of its power, while wastewater recycling cuts usage by 25%. Kai-Tak's aviation heritage has been reborn in sustainable design. The former airport runway has been transformed into a 2.5-kilometer runway park with a historical promenade made of propeller benches, textured floor tiles of the old runway, and retired navigation lights. Adjacent to it, the Kai-Tak cruise terminal integrates environmental technology, including a curved roof with solar panels and an underground reservoir storing 4,000 tons of rainwater annually for irrigation. It was the first building in Hong Kong to receive near-zero carbon certification. Walking through Kai Tak, it becomes evident that the district is the product of meticulous urban planning. Mariam Aswadi argued that architectural adaptability and social cohesion promote sustained livability despite adversity. The article argues these traits offer lessons for modern cities facing density and resource challenges, suggesting that blending column wall cities' organic resilience with planned urban strategies could enhance future sustainable development. In Kai Tak, public spaces like the Sky Garden and Seaside Promenade encourage social interactions. Planners included open lanes between residents in the surroundings of Mukding Street and Muktai Street of the Kai Tak Great neighborhood to foster interaction and social cohesion. However, in reality, those lots have been developed as gated communities. This contradicts the original vision of co-housing, which is a bottom-up approach where residents participate in design and management, aimed at combating social isolation and fostering a strong sense of community. This reflects the inconsistency between urban planners' intended social design and the lived reality of residents, who prioritize security and exclusivity.
As Richard Fodor said, openness, tolerance, and diversity towards all nationalities, races, and professions is a key element in the development of a city. Central, as Hong Kong's international financial center, is the perfect embodiment of this spirit of tolerance. The city is full of talents from all over the world, including professionals and artists from diverse industries like finance and art. From Asia, Europe, and Southeast Asia, all of whom we can easily meet on our trip. People from different cultural backgrounds meet, exchange, and cooperate here, creating a multicultural and inclusive city. Central's inclusiveness is reflected not only in its internationalization, but also in its internal diversity. It is home to some of the world's leading financial institutions and high-class shopping malls. But at the same time, in the alleys between the high-rise buildings, you can also find some very traditional stores, such as those selling customized silks and flower vendors. It doesn't only accommodate the globalized business elite, but also provides room for local vendors and traditional craftsmen. This inclusiveness makes Central a creative center with an international appearance while retaining its local characteristics. Based on our understanding of Fodor's article, we think that the meaning grew does not simply point to a city or a place's economic growth, but also how a city or a place can attract talent, creative class, and creative professionals. Landry and Bianchini, 1995, state that creativity is the lifeblood of cities, since creativity is essential for production, trading, and marketing. The creative class and professionals usually need a place for them to fulfill their ideas or to express their thoughts. In this sense, how a place was built or planned has a direct effect on whether it can successfully retain talents or not. We think that the PMQ in Central is an example of fulfilling one of the T, talent. The PMQ, Yun Chongfang, first experienced reconstruction from a college to the police merit quarters in the early 50s, and was revitalized in 2014 and became a creative center, now that connects different startup creative entrepreneurs or designers nowadays. These startup creative businesses include different kinds of art-related work, such as original design clothing, interior design, art lessons, and creative furnitures or household products. PMQ allows each tenant an area to display their own designs or products, and some of them are really very artistic, creative, and useful. Another example would be the Central Market. After the revitalization, it has become a location for the growth of regional brands and conserving Hong Kong's traditional culture. If PMQ is the base for entrepreneurs pursuing their dreams, the Central Market serves as a distribution hub for local brands in their early stages, by reaching out to customers directly and sharing their stories and creativity. Local businesses can boost sales and brand recognition. The echo chamber of local specialty products in the central market has attracted local businesses and a cultural community to take part in. The IFC has illustrated Hong Kong's evolution into a major global financial hub since its opening in 2003. The two main towers house offices for prominent financial institutions, including the Hong Kong Monetary Authority. This concentration gathers a diverse range of talent professionals, from financial analysts and investment bankers to technological specialists and creative professionals.
The double parking system is one smart technology we found in the area. More cars can be parked without changing the structure, and it maximizes the use of space. Nevertheless, the industrial area is still a busy one in Hong Kong. The textile and clothing industry was one of the biggest manufacturing industry in Hong Kong, and Hong Kong Industrial Center was once a hub for garment industry. However, as the factories moved to the mainland due to lower costs, it started to change from making to selling. Now they are mainly doing wholesale and retail business for female fashion, which feels like the Mongkok Center for aunties. This building is a representation and witness of the light industry of Hong Kong.
The public housing in Shui Po is currently facing enormous challenges. As can be seen in the video, there are a large number of openings in Shui Po. They look shabby on the outside, and the interiors is even dirtier and messier.
Society for Community Organization in Hong Kong, in Sham Shui Po. About 1,200 buildings are 50 years old or more, accounting for over 70% of the total. 75% of the residents feel that the buildings in Sham Shui Po are dangerous, and nearly 50% of them are dissatisfied or very dissatisfied with the government's performance in randomly inspecting the buildings. More than 87% of the grassroots residents pointed out that the buildings in which they lived had structural, safety and fire safety problems, including broken walls and exposed electrical wires, and so on. So why do they choose to live here even though they know it's dangerous? It's still because of their income. With meager earnings, as many as 93.4% of the interviewees are forced to rent subdivided flats, cubicles, and bed spaces with poor living environments. The interviewed elderly and ethnic minorities account for 22.8% and 13.9% respectively. Whenever I go to Sham Shui Po, I can see many old people picking up cardboard boxes from the garbage to sell. As well as I was afraid of privacy issues, so I didn't take photos, but I noticed many ethnic minorities, seemingly South Asians, a dozen people living in one house. Elderly people and ethnic minorities are struggling for survival in Sham Shui Po. Even though the government has decided to conduct research and formulate plans to redevelop Sham Shui Po, a large number of residents are still being treated unfairly. It has been more than half a year since the Urban Renewal Authority announced the research on Sham Shui Po. As high as 99% of the interviewees have no idea about the situation or only know a little bit about it, and 83% of them are unclear about how to safeguard their rights and interests. They may lose more economic compensation or resettlement housing in the future demolition plans.
Transitional housing provides short-term accommodation for those in need. Built in just 18 months using 85% recycled materials, these units offer dignified living for vulnerable families. While considered a stopgap solution, the low-carbon construction techniques could serve as a model for future permanent housing. Kai Tak Sports Park, another landmark project, hosts a world-class sports event with a 50,000-seat venue. During the day, residents practice Tai Chi. At night, the venue transforms into a community culture market. This flexible spatial strategy aims to balance meritocracy with inclusivity. However, questions remain. Will it truly catalyze grassroots sports culture, or will it primarily serve the elite? The government measure for charging runners 18 Hong Kong dollars for using the runway tracks at Kai Tak Youth Sports Ground after 5 p.m. sparked criticism. Meanwhile, The grass pitch of the Kai Tak Youth Sports Ground will cost 1,800 Hong Kong dollars to rent for 90 minutes, which is 6 times that of a leisure and culture
as a
services
final
department
conclusion
managed
to
pit.
all of the work done by us in the urban sociology course, while we, who were compiling the video footage for this project, we noticed that while we were able to highlight quite a bit of the urban changes that Hong Kong has gone through architecturally, culturally, and socially in a positive light, from points of Hong Kong being a cosmopolitan while retaining cultural legacies to being able to attract future creative classes through the improved, smart, and sustainable development. We believe that it would also be crucial to note the urban changes that may arise in such changing times. And thanks to our professor and the offerings of this course, we became more aware of the duality of urbanization. As with many benefits to development, such may also cause rising inequality, not just economically but ethnically as well, evident in anywhere between corporate settings to weekend hangout spots, to a decrease in a city affordability, where despite Hong Kong being a costly city in of itself, the privatization and corporatization of necessities as commodities in urban society ultimately creates its own problems while uplifting the glitz and glamour of new urban development. All that to say, rather than to see the development of urban cities as either good or bad, urbanism and the study of urban societies ought to make us think holistically about the societal implications instead, as when we think, we grow to have a deeper understanding of the city around us.